we have our first class of the week. And our class of the week is Representative. Oh, go ahead. You go. You added someone.
Oh, no, you're fine. So, okay. Surprise. I couldn't decide which one. Because in my book, they're both classes and they're both right now killing the state senate right now. They're just doing their thing. And I love that they're working as a team for change. So we have state representatives, Alexandria, and please forgive me, Cortez, because the other name in the middle, my mouth can't do that. And Jasmine Crockett. Both of these state representatives are young, they are millennials, and they are being very loud, proud, and brown. And so they came across my radar for the speeches that they gave. I mean, they're always just spitting fire. But there was a specific thing that came out where there was another state representative who is a white woman decided to use white privilege against a white man during her speech in the Senate. And it was like, first of all, the fact that it came out her mouth, the rest of the world heard this, it was a shock. But what I really appreciated is that these two brown women did not let that fly. They did not care. They said, we will not stand for this. You can't use that word. You don't even know what it means, or that phraseology, if you will. You don't know what that means, and you're not even using it correctly because you need to apply it to yourself first. And so it was just dynamite hearing these two women speak up and represent, and the way that they're representing their states, their constituents, and even themselves is worth talking about.
Absolutely. Do we have the clips or?
Because talk about foreign money coming in. Have y'all seen the report that was just produced where this chairman decided that he was going to block this committee from receiving additional information about y'all's guy Trump and all the money that he took? From what we did receive, we know that Trump got almost $6 million that we can account for, and we know that that's more, that there's more there from China specifically. We found almost $8 million total that he accepted from foreign governments while he was serving as the president of these United States. But we're concerned about the president's son who has not been involved in his administration. I just want to run it back, though, to the very beginning, because this is something that I just can't get over. I can't get over the gentle lady from South Carolina talking about white privilege. It was a spit in the face, at least of mine as a Black woman, for you to talk about what white privilege looks like, especially from that side of the aisle. And let me quote your now ousted speaker and what he had to say about the Republican Party and y'all's lack of diversity. When you look at the Democrats, they actually look like America. When I look at my party, we look like the most restrictive country club in America. So let me tell you something. Y'all don't know what white privilege looks like, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of something. You see, you want to talk about a two-tier justice system, and this is the only time that y'all have ever referenced it, when this country has a history when it comes to Black and brown folk of having two separate sets of rules. And right now, what you want to do is have two separate sets of rules because Mr. Moskowitz offered y'all a fair situation. He said he would vote for Hunter to be held in contempt if y'all voted to hold all, even if you remove all of the members of Congress. There's still other people that y'all haven't decided that y'all have excuses for, but y'all don't want to hold them in contempt. But for some reason, it makes sense to hold Hunter Biden in contempt, who has tried to comply. And let me tell you why nobody wants to talk to y'all behind closed doors, because y'all lie. That's just the bottom line. You have done it thus far in this investigation. You have done it this far as it relates to this committee. In every single hearing, y'all spin, spin, spin. I don't know how y'all are still standing right now, because you should be quite dizzy from all the spinning that you're constantly doing when it comes to spinning the truth. You talk about free and fair elections, but you back a guy who we know tried to steal the election. And this isn't about what Democrats have to say. Let me remind you, for those of you that don't know how the justice system works, it's not a matter of the president went in and indicted Trump, but we are talking about grand juries. Grand juries are comprised of American citizens, and the people that have entered pleas of guilty that will be flipping on your leader in a minute, they are Republicans. I do want to point that out. And half of them were Republicans that were handpicked by Donald Trump himself. So, to be clear, whatever happens to your little leader, it's going to be because of the actions that he took. So you can talk all you want to about how January 6th was nonsense, but all of y'all were running at that time. Y'all were grabbing y'all's gas masks and y'all were running to your offices because you didn't know if they were coming to kill you. You should have cared that somebody was there to protect you, but instead you want to play games because you found out that it was your leader that decided that he wanted to propagate an insurrection on our country. So don't tell me that you care about the Constitution, because you don't. All you care about is Trump getting reelected, and I'll yield the last of my time to my leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to address briefly, quickly, that moment about privilege and all of this that we're seeing here. It was a very beautiful speech by the gentlelady, who, as she mentioned, was helped lead on the now majority side, the Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Subcommittee. But I think it's so exemplary of the point that she also oversaw the elimination of the Civil Rights Subcommittee on this committee, which really kind of gives the whole game away. We show up, we give speeches, we give flowery words, but at the end of the day, participate in the structural erosion of the rights and representation of people that are marginalized, women, people of color, people that just need to see their due process and civil liberties protected in this country. But I will move on. As also the Republican side had mentioned in their many raisings of the January 6th committee, that it's not just Hunter Biden, you, me, any individual subject to equal treatment under the law, to be held up to accountability under the law, but it is also these committees and this committee that is subject to oversight and law. We must comply with the law here as well. Now, I may be one of the very few people that actually believes in Congress, in this country, but I do, and many of us do here. And we have an obligation to engage in good faith participation to execute and comply with the subpoena.
Yeah. Yes. Come on, all the hair flip. I love how she flipped her hair right before she started talking. Wait a minute. I feel like that's the equivalent to taking the earrings off and putting the Vaseline on the face.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the equivalent. It's just the professional, legal equivalent. Mm-hmm.
So, I like this for so many reasons. It's women speaking out and being strong and letting their voices be heard. I'm definitely, anytime Crockett hits the floor, I'm definitely paying attention now. She definitely has a one, even though I'm not in her area. She definitely want to support her here. And I absolutely agree with you. Crockett for VP 2024.
You know what? It's what I appreciate is how these women stay true to who they are. A lot of times as Black people, specifically, or even as Hispanic people or Asian people, they don't get to advance because we're told that we don't speak correctly, right? We don't get certain jobs. We don't get the promotion. They don't take us, to the business trips. But these two women have made it all the way up to being state representatives and are speaking out in these public spaces as political figures, and they don't sound like everybody else. They don't sound Eurocentric, but what they're saying is true. What they're saying is right, and what they believe in and who they're representing is very much so the driving force behind them. And so I appreciate who they are and being who they are and making room for others coming after them.